But let me take you now to this report. It's Mother's Day, Sunday. My mom wants to go to the National Seashore. It's in the middle of the Texas coast, over 100 miles from Mexico, so there's no security issue there. And, you know, oh, the security issue. The biggest security threat is the government historically. And again, they make us all prisoners in the name of safety. So I usually go stay at Port Aransas, 40 miles away. But my mom's like, let's go, you know, where we used to go when you were a child. Let's go to the National Seashore. You got a lot of national seashores, but it's the biggest in the U.S., and it's a big federal park. And I was there just a couple of years ago with my parents, and you'd see a park ranger maybe once a day. Now, every 5 minutes, they're driving back and forth in front of you. And they get out and ask you, hey, you're not poaching sea turtles, are you? And you're like, no. Well, just they're about to hatch. And, you know, and we're like, okay. And then another one pulls up and, you know, don't go in the dunes. There's not a law, but the rattlesnakes will get you. And there's big sand dunes. And I'm like, there's rattlesnakes all over Texas. How many incidents do you have? They're like, only a few a year. And then they drive by and say, hey, Alex. They're driving by and I hear, hey, Alex. And I turn around as my kids are playing in the surf. There's a truck right there. And I'm like, oh, yeah. When I pulled in here, the park ranger said, you're Alex Jones. At the gate paying him $10. So all of this is going on. My parents are down there in a pop-up. We're out there barbecuing, doing what evil Americans do. You know, I'm bad. I'm a security threat. The government's not, though. Founding fathers are wrong. Government has made the sun come up that morning, the grass grow. So I'm out there minding my own business, and I noticed there's like a car 100 yards away, another car 100 yards away parked. They pull over and stop and talk to them. They pull over and stop and talk to other ones. And this is all part of this assessment thing. So another one comes back, and I go, what are you doing? Well, I'm a federal law enforcement officer, wanted to impress me. And he was sitting there asking us questions, trying to assess us and everything. But they were doing it to everybody because we're all the enemy. And I realized, wait, they're shutting down beaches all over the country, saying you can't go swim now in Florida and other areas. They admit it's UN buffer zone. They want to teach you that the property isn't yours. They're banning cars first. I'm behind the pop-up showering off as an outside shower. And they pull up again. And I'm like, this is a joke. This time they finally have something. And they say, just what do you think you're doing? To my 7- and 4-year-old. Because they had thrown a hamburger bun at the seagulls who were constantly begging for food. And of course, my mom said, I've been down here 40 years and never had you guys tell us how to feed seagulls. And they go, well, you can get in trouble for it. It's against policy. You know that whole excuse, don't feed the bears. Well, these are seagulls. And I said, look, I'm not coming back here. I've been harassed like it's an airport. This is pathetic. It's Agenda 21. I know you're getting ready to shut down part of the beach, aren't you? In the future, they're like, ooh. My wife got a little bit of footage on her camera, but her camera ran out of batteries. We weren't expecting this. But then I noticed that if you left the park to go get ice or something, they had cars all waiting, just randomly pulling people over to hopefully get them on DWI or whatever. The point is, you're seen as food. You're seen as something to be fed on by these predators. It's like our East Texas property, our ranch we've had since 1830s, Mexican land grant. Sometimes a game warden would show up. We were out there camping. But, hi, how you doing? Oh, just checking on things. 6 or 7 of them run in last year. We're just out there camping. Start getting in our face, telling us they're with a federal task force, bugging their eyes out at us. Again, they've sent forth swarms of agents to eat out our substance, Declaration of Independence. But the good news is right after they harassed me that last time and I got in their face, the first car to stop goes, Alex Jones, hey, you're awesome. We're listeners. And I went down and talked to one car that had just been harassed as well. And they said, yeah, the seagulls were flying around, so we threw them a chip. They were right on us. I went and talked to the other group. They didn't want to be on camera, but they were listeners. The park ranger at the office was a listener. A guy driving by was a listener. People on both sides of us were listeners. I said, that's it. I'm going to Port A to go check into a hotel. I go there with my family. I walk down to the pier. I walk in and buy a bottle of water because I'd walk with my children a couple miles down there. And they go, Alex Jones? And the dad's a listener. The son cooking hamburgers in the back, a little place. And the mom's a listener. I walk out. People go, keep up the good work, Alex. Fishermen up on the top of the pier. I'm walking down the beach. People are like, that's Alex Jones. That's Alex Jones. That's Alex Jones. I walk in one gas station last night in Kyle to get gas and to get a Perrier. I'm evil. And the two kids in there buying something are listeners. Is that him? Is that him? Folks, again, we are really starting to have an effect. And so you've seen these video clips and photos interspersed in here. The point is that they're hiring people who just get off on bossing people around. In the old days, cops would just drive up and down the beach. If they saw a problem, they'd do something. Driving out to Port A, I saw a car catch on fire. Well, I saw it smoking in the distance. Once we got there, it was pretty much burnt out. The police and fire department were there. That's what real police do, is respond to real things, not just henpeck you. That happened to me at the Grand Canyon. We were driving the RV up, looking for the RV parking. She pulls us over, starts screaming at us, and says, what are you doing up here? And we go, we're looking for the RV parking. We're on a major road. She goes, this road's for buses only. I could have you arrested. And I just looked at her and I said, Richard Reeves was there. He went with us. And I said, you really want to have us arrested? You really want to just tell me that? I said, all we did was at night pull up here. It's a major road. Where is the parking? And she settled down and went, you're right. Let me show you where it is, and led us to it. And it was just right down the street. What is this? An RV's on the wrong road. Let's blow up and threaten to arrest people with little kids. It's always the little kids that make them stop. Because my kids were looking at them out the window all scared, and the woman kind of felt bad and backed off. But the point is, you're all hyped up like you're fighting Al-Qaeda. We didn't even get to that story. Mainstream news admits that our government is funding Al-Qaeda to blow up Assad military bases and police stations. And they're wearing Al-Qaeda black uniforms with Al-Qaeda patches with the UN. They just gave them Libya. And the police are all afraid of the non-existent threat of Al-Qaeda getting in people's faces. I'm tired of it. You're ruining the country. Your bosses are telling you to do this in an attempt to get the public. Police have told me, we're told to arrest people for no seatbelts, to get them in the database. They want everybody used to being arrested. That's diabolical. That's tyranny. And I know you won't get promoted. You're in a peer pressure thing. You want that 100,000. Some cops are paid 150,000, even sergeants. You want that big money. Is your soul worth it? Isn't your passion for truth? I was talking to a friend who trains police just today, and the guy didn't know that I'm friends with him. The police officer didn't. And he goes, yeah, you were this big, high-level cop, but you've been busted down now just to patrol. And he goes, yeah, they want us to break the law and do a lot of bad stuff. I wouldn't do it, so they busted us down, me and a whole bunch of the buddies. And he's like, yeah, that's crazy. He goes, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing some work with Alex Jones. He goes, Alex Jones, he's a little bit alarmist. I mean, he's an okay guy, but he's alarmist. And my friend's like, but you just said you won't do criminal things in the Austin Police Department, so a bunch of you got busted down. See, you're not going to run from this. You're all targeted by it. Everybody's targeted by it. This is wrong. If it's against the Bill of Rights and Constitution, it's a load of bull. That's common sense. And as we lose that Bill of Rights and Constitution, we're losing our whole society. So here's one more of the clips as we go out to break. We're going to come back with our guest with the police drugging people. But hey, the troops grow the opium. So again, all of this, Al-Qaeda works for the government. The troops grow the opium. The terrorists run the government. Does that mean the average military man or bureaucrat is bad? No. But the system is bad at the top. And we better reverse this now, because the globalists are setting up to totally take over, to secure all their ill-gotten gains. It's InfoWars Nightly News. Stay with us.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Sick of the globalists, eugenicists, control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at Infowars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.